assortment of jobs today, but we're starting out here, taking out this Bradford pear that's split to storm damage. Our plan is to flop it here in this way, and probably going to do a tongue and groove on it just to try to save that wall right there. We'll see how it goes. That's the start. We are gonna just do like a conventional. You don't want it too low, because what you're looking for is having some sort of leverage on the top. So I'm gonna start it a little higher than I normally would. That way I'll have this much or whatever. So when this falls, imagine having like something that props the butt end up. So however low you make your notch is how much you're gonna have to work with. Here we don't need much, because it also depends on the height of the tree. So you can see we got a pretty long tree. When this falls and the ends touch over there, it's actually gonna raise it a good bit. So we don't need a whole lot, and I'm thinking probably like to here. That's probably where I want my notch to end. Maybe I'll probably end up having to do a little bit lower actually, just so I'm not cutting too high, but it shouldn't be too much, just as long as the button is propped up a little. So that all comes into play. Let's start off with the normal conventional and open face. Depending on the situation in the tree, open face typically is better for this because it can fall straight in. Sometimes with a conventional it'll pop off too early, and what you'll end up happening is the tree will actually fall out. So what you want is for it to glide into the slot that you're making, which is why open face would be ideal in this scenario as well. That looks pretty decent enough. Aiming it straight towards our slot. So from here, this is the fun part, I suppose. We don't need to cut up too high. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out our slot. So I'm gonna come in here, and it's gonna be cut in like a little centerpiece. All you need to leave is the sides. Not too little, not too much, but just enough to hold. So I'd say probably like split it up into quarters maybe. We can do 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then like 2 of those quarters is gonna be your middle part, and you would leave the outer sections. That's what's gonna hold. It also depends on the tree. So maybe we probably want a little bit more. It tends to break a little easier. So we're gonna make the center section a little bit smaller, but still big enough to hold.
So I'm thinking, putting like just slits into it?
We're gonna cut into it, bore cut, and we're gonna make long lines to create that slot for it to fall in. So check it out. Do this, oops, when you do this, avoid cutting with the tip of your bar. When I start like this, cut with this with your attack, and then go in. Once you're a decent ways in, then you can start slowly moving the bar like this, but you have to get in there quite a ways, especially on hardwood trees. You're gonna find this jumpy as a dead trees too, so just keep that in mind, because you go in there like this trying to bore cut, that thing's gonna jump straight back at you. Now we look at our cuts, make sure both are lined up, and most importantly on the back. Sometimes the back is what'll get you. So that's pretty lined up. Now we're gonna make another bore cut. This is where we cut out our, I guess you could call the tongue. You're gonna come down here, bore cut the bottom. You're gonna separate essentially this from your stand. And that's another bore cut. I typically come a little bit higher than your bottom cut, because a lot of the times you'll mismatch these. So if you come a little higher, it'll give you some more room, because like I said, we want to leave as much stand as we can so that it'll actually sit into it. So All right. So sometimes it can be a little hard, but try to avoid cutting too far into your sides, because like I said, the weight of this will sometimes kick these sides out and then it'll just fall out. But this is essentially our safety net for this to fall into. So you don't want to cut too far into this, because then you're going to create a weak point to where when this falls, it might kick this out and it'll jut out, and you got to be mindful of that. So ideally what you want to see is the other side through those cuts. Here you can see down here's cut, here's cut, here's cut. Come to the back. Back's always the part that messes me up, making sure that everything's been cut and this is free, because if anything's holding, it's not going to want to come. It's going to be like essentially like a snap cut. So making sure everything's loose and free.
So it's like when you cut, so like this, that thing just like sits in between the slot.
Yep. Okay. It's going to fall straight into it, and you're going to see this button just kind of, if everything goes right, it should fall straight into that slot. So from here, that's essentially it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little bit more separation on here, just a little bit more, to make sure that this isn't affected and that they can lift and come over. All you need is probably like an inch or two of separation on that tongue, and then after that we'll be ready to cut the sides. So there we go. Cut that slot out. And then now you can see we're really loose. They should lift up and over nice and easy. Alrighty, so let's go pre-tension that avant. And if all goes well, you'll see it fall right in there. So it fell out. And that's the thing you get with this. I mean, it did break off a little earlier. Probably what I would have wanted is a little bit more of a pull out that direction, but it also, the limbs, when they hit, they deflected this and pushed it up and out. But in an ideal perfect world, I guess, if this was a straight spar, the butt end hits the ground, this falls in and stays up, right? But yeah. there it is. Oh, what a neat pile for the grapple. They're gonna be swinging on by later, so we don't have to worry about cleanup for now, but yeah, easy peasy.